What's up, wet mouths out there in the public domain? I'm your host, Johnny Destructo. You're currently tuning in to the CultPop Podcast. Let me start this over. What's up to all our sidekicks and henchmen out there in the mother-loving geek nation? You're currently tuning into the sensational CultPop Podcast, episode 51, a show where we talk about movies and comics and video games, breaking news, and all the other things that scratch your nerdy itch. We're coming to you live from the Young Junk HQ.
Young Junk.
A bomb-ass podcast production space in Philadelphia, PA. Let's try that again. Hey, we're coming at you live from Young Junk.
A bomb-ass production studio in Philadelphia, PA. Young Junk.
That's fine too.
Hey, you know what? I'm just going to point at you and you remember what I want you to do.
Yeah.
Ready? And go.
So there was a tree.
Nope, that was not it.
No, that was it.
It's Johnny Destructo of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street.
Yeah.
A super rad comic shop that caters to you specifically. So come buy the stuff that I ordered for you specifically. With me tonight are Brian.
Here I are.
And Noel.
Oh, hey.
Do you want to do the thing that Brian does, which is just chug an entire bottle of water for way too long?
No, I wanted to last.
It's not too long.
Okay.
It's the right amount of time. Sometimes it's too short.
Also in the booth is our trusty producer, Dylan the Great. That's enough out of you. Please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you know when we're doing this here naughtiness. Also, we love a little back and forth, so email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com. We actually have a letter.
We have a letter?
We have
all the many single sentence
lots and lots of letters.
But we're only going to read
satisfying
one of them.
amount.
It's actually a text.
It's
Alice,
a missive.
last time we were together, we talked about FNIF,
Yes.
the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
The film, not the 12 video games.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, we did discuss those a little bit as well.
But we didn't talk about the plot of those 12 video games.
We discussed that there wasn't one.
Something.
Oh, but then Noel learned. Everyone, shut up.
Wait, I learned something about
Noel
Five Nights
learned
at Freddy's. All right, so when we talked about it, I was like, hey, there's continuity bullshit because this bear with a broken ear and eye came and picked up the girl.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a different bear that we didn't meet before and never saw again. That's Golden Freddy.
Oh.
That's like a whole like video game Easter egg that they didn't set up one fucking stitch of in the movie, and I'm supposed to care.
Like, did he like? Can he just
to be fair,
assume
they
the
weren't
body
like-
of a different bear?
I had people attack me online because I was just like, well, it wasn't, story-wise or in the movie, at least it wasn't clear that that's a different bear. It was just a little confusing. How was it confusing? They looked totally different. Like
That was the confusing part.
that
They look different.
They look
right.
Yeah, I'm like, you couldn't tell that he was slightly more golden. Like, no, he was in shadows the whole time. What are you talking about?
Is this like some
randos online
encountered
it
later?
was like, all I was saying was like, one, I didn't dislike the movie, so I'm not really going to fight about it. But two, people that are confused, I think is very warranted because I watch a lot of films and this was confusing.
Oh, we thought it was a continuity error.
Yeah,
we all thought it was continuity error, and I was just like,
must have been a deleted
it's a
scene.
movie. Cool, whatever.
Yeah,
not the bring back Noel's hair. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
it's
Terry
coming
Layton's
back.
in the chat.
It's growing at like
I've buzzed
one
it like
beard second
4
every second.
times since a haircut 2 weeks ago. It grows so fast.
I think it. Can we see it? I think it looks good. Sweet.
So,
sorry,
Alice from the Inside the Morgue podcast texted me, and I'm going to read it to you. Listen to the podcast on my drive into work this morning. Loved it, as always. Thanks for the Inside the Morgue shout out. And then she sent me a couple pictures of Five Nights at Freddy's. So there's the pictures.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out the character from Dune. Shout out, Mapes.
Well, I thought it was like a shout out, like I pooped.
So the question we were asking about Five Nights at Freddy is that there were 4 animatronics, and then there was a cupcake animatronic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and who's my favorite of all of them, and was the most gnarly of all of them.
Yeah,
and so we were a little confused as to who the cupcake was. So she says, also, all caps, there are only 4 animatronic animals at Freddy's, but in Mike's stream, he sees 5 ghost kids. So theoretically, one of those little fuckers is the demon cupcake, LMAO.
But due to my arguments online, it's actually Golden Freddy, and the cupcake has no soul attached to it.
Oh,
what?
Then why?
So Golden Freddy is
a
different child. Even I thought it was the same child.
It's apparently
in a different animatronic.
Apparently, the ass
animatronic.
backwards game lore that
Mhm.
I was schooled on because it was terrible film language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there wasn't anything about it.
Yeah,
It wasn't addressed in any fashion.
Yeah.
And like to the extent, as I said,
But
the way
think about
there was
that
a
if these-
continuity error.
Think about this if they were just different actors, right?
Yeah.
A character you've never seen for the whole
Mhm.
hour and a half beforehand
Mhm.
shows up and brings, the main character from one point to the next point,
Yeah.
and then never shows up again.
Pieces out.
Yeah.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why we're supposed to forgive it because they're fucking animatronic bears.
Because I think it's because, like we discussed in our conversation about it, this movie works best, I think, as a companion piece to the pre-existing thing.
400
Yeah.
hours
Right?
of something else.
Like you
Yeah.
already know all that, and you're like, I could see it in a movie, like
Yeah, yeah.
acted out, like portions of this, and it just fits
I'm complaining,
in. Yeah.
but again, didn't hate the movie, and
Yeah.
I will totally watch the sequel.
Is there a
Not.
Six Nights at Freddy's?
I mean, no,
Five
it's
Nights
probably
at
gonna-
Frank's.
5 more Nights at Freddy's?
Probably something like that. But
5
yeah,
Freddy's, 5 Furious.
Can I
what's
say
his
over
name-
another 5
what's his name
nights?
signed on for 3 movies.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Lillard signed on.
Oh,
for
see,
like 3
the way I
movies.
read it was he signed on for 3 movies with that company, not those movies.
He's the
That
main
makes sense.
baddie. He's,
Yeah. I always come back. It's a
First,
reference that none of us gets.
I was like,
Is that
It's a
I mean,
reference from the video game.
from the
Is
video
it?
game?
it's so weird. Like if he said, like, this is the first time you've come across this villain,
Mhm.
and he screams, "I've always come back," and you're like, wait, when were you here before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our
It
first.
just has a very
This
strong
is our
conviction.
first thwarting.
Yeah.
Why-
You know, the
wouldn't
more
have
we
you
talk
been
about it, the
before?
more it makes me want to rewatch Willy's Wonderland.
It's great.
So the next segment of our show, which Dylan suggested, is what should Dylan watch tonight?
Yeah.
Noel, what should Dylan watch tonight?
So let me look up the stats for it. What should Dylan watch tonight? I'm going to suggest for Dylan to watch something that was near and dear to my childhood. I'm not going to let you cheat. You're trying to look at my screen. It's a television sitcom, lasted for 4
You're the one
seasons. You listen to this, Dylan?
4 seasons.
Lasted for 4 seasons, television sitcom. It aired originally in 1986 and lasted till 1990. Also had a television movie a couple years later after that kind of wrapped it up a little bit. And I'm referring to Alf.
Alf!
Oh, ow.
Ooh, okay.
Alien Life Force.
Okay.
Life form.
Alien Life Force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also known as Gordon Shumway of Melmac.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I want you to watch at least 3 episodes of Alf.
You know what I love? So I just saw a meme recently that brought this up that had never occurred to me because I was a child. But the fact that like everyone in that family knows his
Mhm.
name is Gordon Shumway,
But they call him
and
Alf.
they call him Alf.
It's a friendly nickname.
Yeah, they're like, if
Yeah.
hey, instead we just always call Brian Human.
Yeah. Hey, human.
What's up, human man?
Hey.
Anyway,
You
I thought
good.
that was a neat thing.
You know what, Dylan? You should
Little
watch.
did-
Noel said 3 episodes. You should watch the TV movie.
Just
Just
Project Alf.
that. Just start with
It's
that.
called Project Alf, starring
Yes.
Martin Sheen. The
As
Martin
Alf.
Sheen. It's so spoiler alert, the series finale of Alf, season 4, they didn't know it was a series finale. They just thought it was a season finale.
Yeah.
And he gets caught by the government.
Right.
Oh snap.
They're trying to catch him.
And then nothing happens for like 5 years, and then there's a TV movie of him being tested on in the government facilities, and then escapes, and
Oh.
blah blah blah, and hilarity ensues. Sam,
Sam, your
C,
wife.
Alf terrified me as a child. I hated that show.
Oh, no.
It's available on Peacock.
Why was it? Why would you? It was so. He was so cute.
He ate
He
his
had that
hats.
like big penis nose. It looks so soft and squishy.
He did.
It
There
was
was.
like ribbed for my pleasure.
And you clearly
Yeah.
Yeah,
are
soft and
deriving pleasure
squishy,
from
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Oof,
Currently.
okay.
Brian, what you Dylan
Hey,
watch
I'd like to
tonight?
fuck my Alf doll,
Dylan. Yeah.
or my Alf doll fucks me. Which
Yeah.
one?
Oh,
Yeah,
he fucks
yeah.
Dylan, have you watched Legion, the TV show?
No, that's the one about like the angels and stuff.
No.
No?
That, yes. I think it is also called that. But
Marvel show.
it's the Marvel show. Yeah, but not in the
X-Men
MCU.
show.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Sort of. He is in the comics, he's Professor Xavier's son, and there is nothing about that from the start of this show. It's just this very highly stylized world where he is in an asylum, and he has this voice in his head, but turns out he's a powerful psychic. But he also is disturbed mentally.
Yeah.
Like there is that as well.
Okay, interesting.
Um,
Interesting.
He runs into these various mutants, and they all have kind of in some way interesting mind-based powers. Like one guy, one person, she touches people and switches bodies with them for a little while. Another person, I think, remembers everything, but they're all delivered in these very interesting ways. And John Hamm does the previously ons sometimes,
does he?
where he
Okay.
says things like ostensibly on Legion, and it's awesome. Aubrey
Cute.
Plaza is in it
Yeah,
as
she was the reason I wanted to watch
Oh,
it.
she's
I just love
amazing.
Aubrey Plaza.
and you
Yes.
watched it.
I watched some of it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, really good, really trippy stuff. Very cool.
What's where can I watch it?
FX on Hulu. It's
Nice.
Noah Hawley is responsible for the show. Who did Fargo.
The TV
show.
version. I
Yeah.
haven't seen the TV version, but I love
It's
the movie. Fargo.
fantastic.
Yeah.
The TV
Yeah, I
show
haven't seen the
is
show
And
yet
where
either.
can I watch? Where can I watch Alf?
Peacock.
I don't have Peacock. I'm so
Uh-oh.
sorry.
Looks like
It's also
Legion.
available on
Yep.
Tubi and Pluto TV.
I don't have
It's
either.
either Legion or
Or-
my pick, which is called
Yeah.
Spaced.
Spaced.
Spaced is one of my
Mm.
all-time favorite sitcoms, and it is from Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg,
Yes.
Okay.
the guys behind Shaun of
Yeah.
the Dead.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that they all worked on together, and that's how they got together to create Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, that was
was
the
a-
first thing.
Yeah.
I want to say it was 2 series on the BBC called Spaced, and it's very funny. I love it. I love that show. So
Spaced.
I vote for
And I can watch
Spaced.
that on.
he's Noel's even dropping his recommendation of Spaced.
I have seen Alf. I haven't
okay.
seen all of Alf, but I've seen it.
You're not a
it's-
completist.
The computer is telling me that it is on Space is available on Roku and Amazon Prime.
I'm
Okay.
trying to remember. The cool thing about Alf is they would occasionally cycle through different we're going to a commercial break little segments from Alf, and where he talks to the audience, and I forget what the one was, but it was basically like something, we'll be right back, stay right there or I'll eat your cat. Ha! Yeah. Sam
He did
says
eat
he
cats.
always wanted to eat the cat.
Right.
I think it was Al's voice that threw me off. I have an aversion to lots of accents / voices. It's a thing. So anyway, pick one of those, make it spaced, and then watch it and report back to us next week. The next segment's called Bits and Bobs, because a lot of bits and bobs came down the pike today,
Yeah.
including the Madam Web trailer. So for anyone who doesn't know, Madam Web is an ancillary character in the Spider-Man mythos. And she is sort of a cosmic character, a mystical character, I would say, where she has access to the web of life, and she can see the different paths and futures and or possible futures and alternate realities of the Spider Folk. So
And she's
there's
like one of those incredibly knowledgeable characters who drops you. They see her briefly, and she
Yes.
tells them,
Yes.
you know, like,
here's what's going on.
This is the deal.
Bye.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she's an old lady in a wheelchair with
Mhm.
no eyes and just like she's an exposition machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
a
she-
path machine.
So she has her
Do this.
own movie coming out from Sony,
Huh.
the people who brought us Venom and Let There Be Carnage and Morbius.
Mm.
AKA it's Morbin time. And who is this starring? This is starring the lady from the 50 Shades, right?
Dakota Johnson,
And also
Sydney Sweeney,
Adam
Adam Scott.
Scott. That's what I was
Yes.
thinking of. What did you guys think of this trailer that dropped today? Are you interested in it?
I am interested. I have a question. You said it's by Sony, the people that did those movies.
Yes.
In this trailer, they say with Marvel Studios.
No,
Right? Something of that nature.
that means nothing.
It means nothing.
No.
It's just like they're
In
making money off
associate-
of this too.
In association with Marvel.
Okay.
It's not Marvel Studios. It's
We're
not
using a
Disney.
Marvel character.
It's just we're using a Marvel character that we own.
But right, so they can make any Spider-Man related stuff,
Mhm.
but they have
Mhm.
chosen to lend Spider-Man sometimes to the MCU,
Yes.
right?
Yes, and I believe that they can't while they're in collaboration with
Mhm.
the MCU for
Mhm.
Spider-Man, they can't. I don't think they could do
Their own
more
Spider-Man.
their own live action Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have to share it.
Even if it's not Tom Holland, they still could.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't
I
know
feel
if
like
they.
maybe they think
I don't-
that'd be confusing the
I
brand.
don't
No,
think they
maybe.
would want to.
Maybe. Well, so
that would
anyway,
be, that would be like pissing in their own water source.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why would you muddy the waters of your own
yeah.
intellectual property? Yeah.
So that was the heart of my question was like, if they do have some kind of IP relationship where a character appears in the MCU, and this says in association with Marvel Studios. Did like Morbius and Venom say that in their trailers and movies as well?
In association. Whereas when you
Okay.
see the Tom Holland ones, it is the Marvel Studios logo.
Right. Okay.
These ones won't have that.
Okay.
They probably won't have anything. It'll just say like third title in association with Marvel.
Right.
I feel the same way as I felt with Venom and Morbius. They feel extraneous. They feel weird not having Spider-Man, having them be
The
Spider-Man
family
characters.
Yeah.
And I still to this day I'd wish that Venom wasn't like some anti-hero. I still want to see him fight Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And want to eat Spider-Man's brains. You know what I mean? Like that's the Venom I grew up loving.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's already been moved to this like hero is not the version that I really care about. And this movie seems even less likely to be successful than Venom. Like I could see why like Venom is an interesting character at least. And there's comedic elements to it. And they had a fun job making it, I think. But this Madam Web, I'll watch it. And I'm curious about the different spider people we see in the movie. But Noel has an interesting theory about that, which I didn't glom onto.
I don't think they're going to be in the movie at all.
Yeah.
I'm straddling between indifference and I think it looks terrible, which I don't say lightly because I watch everything.
Yeah.
And I also am very sensitive to not liking a movie like this with this kind of cast. That it's if I say like, oh, I think this looks terrible, terrible people will be like, see, in the same way that they do that with like the Marvels and stuff.
You hate it because it's woke.
It's all it's woke. It's all female
women.
and I just think it looks cheap and poorly put together. And even the costume reveals, they don't look good. And I genuinely don't think those are in plot. Yeah. Those are not in the movie.
They're just alternate visions.
Yes.
What have
so
you.
like they showed a couple beats from an action sequence with 3 spider people. And Ezekiel Sims, who seems to be the baddie, who's not actually a baddie in the comics, but whatever.
Right, didn't he help Spider-Man out with the whole totem
he was
stuff?
a little bit of a foil to begin with, but actually revealed to be like, no,
right, it's like I've been putting you through your paces or whatever.
I mean, this may be the same thing.
Possibly.
Possible.
Yeah.
But you know what? Skip to Moreland. Whatever.
Yeah.
But either way, they show a scene of the 3 spider people fighting Ezekiel, and he looks much older.
Yeah.
And even the way it's shot, it's like hazy and like blurry around the edges, kind of
like a vision.
Yeah.
So everyone's just like, oh, you're gonna see them suit up. I'm like, I don't think that's gonna happen in plot. Like that's just going to be like
you
we
could
saw
be this.
something. Yeah.
This is the hero within.
I
She
truly
wakes up from a
doubt
dream.
anyone in the movie is going to have, because also
It's
too
so weird to me,
Sony, all of the Sony movies have an aversion to the characters even looking remotely like they do in the comics. All of them. Venom, Craven. I was gonna say Kraken.
Oh, Craven! I forgot about Craven.
Yeah, Craven. Morbius. Even their Spider-Man movies pre. The MCU, like Electro was a thing, and Rhino looked like they're just like they have an aversion. If it's not Spider-Man, they have an aversion to actually showing characters in costumes. So I truly doubt it. It looked like a TV movie.
I think they were.
It looked like a TV movie.
Like the like Amazing Spider-Man and those movies, I think were some of the later ones before movies just started making them look like the comics characters as routine, which was the MCU, I think, was like other than Superman movies.
Yeah, even the X-Men came around eventually, and we're like, I guess we'll put them in the blue and yellow.
Right.
Yeah, like 6 movies in.
Yeah.
So anyway, I will be upset if Noel is right because, well, I won't be that upset because I might not even see this movie, but I'm interested in the sense that I like Spider-Man kind of things, and you're right. It's like, without Spider-Man being in that universe, it's a bit. It's like they're trying to build this thing with all of these other pretty cool characters.
It's funny because the Ezekiel looks like a Spider-Man. He looks like the Night Monkey version of Spider-Man.
Yes.
But I also think that that's not real.
Oh, you think that's a vision? What if it's like the movie Next, and she wakes up and she's like, the whole
I
movie's a
honestly
vision?
think. I honestly.
I
So,
like that movie.
so
though.
the way that they're setting up, what's her actual name?
Madam
Something
Web.
Cassie Webb or
Oh, is her last name
Annie,
actually Webb?
Annie Webb or something
I
bullshit like
forget.
that. I don't know. The way that they're setting it up is that she has a near-death experience and can now see
Yeah,
possible potential futures or whatnot. Blah blah blah.
Future,
But
Final
every time that
Destination.
they show Batty,
Mhm.
he's either in the suit, this
Yeah.
like Spider-Man looking suit, or his own clothes.
Mhm.
And there's a couple shots where he's like, it quick cuts between the two in the same space. I think that's just her perspective.
Cassandra Webb. God damn it.
Cassie
Name's
Webb,
yeah.
I think
Cassandra, like the woman who could see the future and no one believed her.
I
Yeah.
honestly think
Every
that
future
it's
telling
always
person is
going to
named
be
that.
her. Like we're going to see most of the movie in her perspective of being able to see threats as they were or going to be or blah blah blah. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a real tame movie.
That
Yeah.
sucks.
Movies that don't want to be superhero movies but are.
Nah. I really like that black and white cat dressed Spider Woman. I always thought she
Oh,
was
yeah.
cool.
It's such a
Aranya?
great no.
Or she may later take on
Carpenter.
that name.
She's Jessica Carpenter.
Yeah, she
Spider-Woman.
was Spider Woman
that
in like
one.
Secret Wars, and Spider Man was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I guess your costume
Yeah,
influenced me."
it's
yeah.
Spider Woman, Aranya are the
Aranya's
three
one I'm
are the
thinking.
three girls.
'Cause when Aranya is not Aranya, and she what was she when she first came out? Was that Aranya?
Yeah.
And then she grew up a little bit. You know, she had like the goggles on and everything. And then when she grew up, she got a black and white costume that was dope as hell.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, very cool.
Cool.
Which I
There's-
like better than the Spider Woman costume.
All right.
And we still don't have a Felicia Hardy movie.
Right.
So
How do we not have a Felicia Black
could-
Cat?
You literally could
Damn.
do
Yeah.
a Black Cat
Heist
movie that has
movie?
absolutely nothing to do with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it would
Hmm.
still be dope.
Oh,
Yeah. They could do that really well.
Like all of her background of working with the Silver Fox.
Black
Silver
Fox.
Sable.
Black-
No, that's
Black Fox.
yeah.
Her
Black Fox.
yeah, Black Fox.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Yeah.
And it would be a dope ass
So
movie.
good. Yeah, with her little henchman dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys have not read the Black Cat miniseries or the ongoing series from
Jed McKay and
Jed
Michael
McKay.
Dowling.
Really
it's
fun.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
so the What If season 2 trailer dropped today as well from Disney Plus. I am very excited about it. What do you think, Brian?
Eat the mic.
I think you're really excited about it too, JD.
Tell me more.
I'm also really excited about it. I think it looks great. I like What If in general.
Same.
I am hoping that these are more like what if stories
Than the
than-
first season?
Yes, which were
Say what you mean, quickly.
what I mean is they were like alternate stories, but they weren't like, what if this one thing went differently
Yeah.
other than the first episode was really like that, the Captain Carter one.
Still my favorite.
Yeah, it was really good. And there a lot of them are like,
Is that
what
a-
if we had told a different story?
Is that a distinction versus difference? Like,
Yes.
in so much as what you want something a little bit more butterfly effect? I think they all were, right?
Some of them seemed like, especially the zombies one, was like, what if we had done a different thing entirely?
Yeah.
Was the what
What's-
if question. Not, I mean, yes, it's like,
That's true.
what if a zombie thing had been released? But
Yeah.
that didn't come up in any of the
What if-
movies. or-
yeah. What if Spider-Man saved Uncle Ben?
Yeah, exactly.
One
Like,
thing
what if
changes about
this
the origin
comics
or
history,
whatever.
movie history thing had been different.
Yeah.
What if Peggy Carter was in the room when?
Yes.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
if she got the super soldier?
Yeah.
I guess yeah, okay. I'm sure what were the episodes like? What were the first season episodes? It's just all a blur.
There was the Peggy Carter
The Peggy Carter one, yes.
There was the what if Iron Man had not stopped being a weapons manufacturer. I forget what changed, and he runs into
that's the Killmonger one.
yes.
That one.
What if-
that one was good.
That's
That was
classic
more what if. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What if T'Challa became a Star-Lord?
That one was pretty
I-
cool.
what if
that
the-
was cool. He
Yeah.
got kidnapped.
What if the world lost its mightiest heroes?
What was that one?
They were being killed by a serial killer.
Oh, that doesn't follow your rules. That was the one where it was somebody Black
It was-
Ants.
oh,
a
Ant-Man.
bad
Hank
Ant-Man.
Pym. Yeah, yeah.
What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands?
That one is where he kept trying to change the past.
Yeah, it's true.
What if zombies?
What if zombies?
That's no.
yeah.
What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark?
I think
That
that
one
one
was.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if Thor were an only child?
No.
Not really.
What
Yeah.
if Ultron won?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It skirts the edge.
And what
Yeah.
if the Watcher broke his oath?
No.
That was just a summation.
Half and half.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, you're
It's
right.
good.
I didn't really understand what you mean. I know how what ifs usually function, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Patey says zombie what if. Yeah.
Zombies What If. Which
Hi, Rob.
surprisingly, one of the ones I'm most excited for is exactly that. It's not
Oh.
zombies, but it's just a completely
do you want to
different
do the? We'll do.
Yeah,
the,
let's
well,
hit it.
before, what did you think and on what I thought, and then we'll talk about that. They also revealed the episode titles of all 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Well, some
for-
people may not want to know.
Okay.
Let's
All
leave it. Reed Richards. Yeah, they're talking about
Wait, what is-
casting.
oh, that was
Reed
it?
What did you think of What If season 2? You hated it. I thought so.
I think
He
it looked
hated
really good. I think it looked really
Yeah, me
good.
too.
Hey, Robert Monroe.
And I did want to know because it wasn't clear from the trailer, so I looked them up what the episode titles were, and a lot of them I'm like, oh, what is that? That would be cool. I want to see that
Yeah,
story. Yeah.
Great question.
Before you move on, the release schedule is cool.
Oh,
it,
yes.
it
that-
drops.
that's
It drops
important.
December 22nd, and every single night is a new episode.
I like
Yes,
that.
That's
So
cool.
not weekly, not all in one dump. It's just
Yeah.
9 episodes. So it's pretty much the 22nd through January
Whatever,
2nd.
9 days.
Yeah, 9 days.
Do you think you're going to be what if out
I don't think
5
so.
nights in?
I mean, it's a very busy time of year. Am I going to be able to watch one episode of that every night?
I
Maybe, maybe not.
I have a tenuous relationship with cartoons anyway. So that like even season 1 of What If didn't feel like vital. I have to hurry up and watch this before it gets spoiled kind of content. It was just like, oh, that's nice. Okay, I'll watch that. So no, I don't think it'll.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't feel rushed.
So they're talking about casting Reed Richards in the
Mm.
Marvel universe,
Mm.
and they have the rumor is
Oh, Pedro Pascal is in
Yeah.
official talks.
and everyone that I can see has laugh reacted it and screamed out no in all caps for some reason on the internet.
What would make people on the internet happy though?
Nothing.
What would,
I
ma-
see
what would
so
make
many.
people happy?
I don't know why this is, but a lot of them
Ah.
reaction things that I see are like at least a mix
Yeah.
to these things.
Yeah.
When I don't always go in the comments, but when I do, there's like people that are like, "Oh, this is awesome,"
Oh,
and then
okay.
other people that are like, "Oh, I don't like this."
Yeah.
So
I wish I saw something more like that. Rob Beatty says it's Marvel's advent calendar.
Yeah,
which
every
is fun.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cute.
I love it.
I think Pedro Pascal is a fine choice.
Yeah,
But like Noel pointed out before we started recording, I also don't care about Reed Richards.
that's true.
So I've got
And
no skin in this
you
game.
said-
He
what was
doesn't
your
care about
feeling
Reed
about
Richards. So I
Pedro
think Reed
Pascal?
Richards is great.
You had a similar thing about Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
You
I
were
also
like,
don't care about
right.
Pedro Pascal. I like him,
Yes.
but he does not make me watch things.
Okay.
I don't hear his name and go, oh,
Let's
I
play a
do-
game.
I do that.
Let's play a game.
I like a game.
Who would be cast or in talks or what? So the way it breaks down usually is like officially in talks is that he's been offered the role and they're just working through paperwork and contracts, and then officially signed is in. But when trades say you're officially in talks, something has to happen for you not to get the job. He's pretty much going to have the job.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was still taking it as like
Officially in talks
hearsay.
is not a rumor. That's a status.
Why don't I hear that more often? You know what I mean? Like, why is it just not released that they're in talks more often? Like
Usually.
when somebody's cast or that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for Marvel stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah. Who would be cast that you would be like, no, absolutely not. No. What actor or actress would you have a true aversion to? I think I have an answer, but go ahead.
Nick Cage.
Yep.
I do not. Okay.
I do not like Nick Cage. I don't.
I do not like him in a boat. I do not like him in a moat. Actually, that's not true.
But
I
you
like
did
him.
just say you wanted to rewatch a movie if it's.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
here's the thing. I like Nick Cage
You love Nick
in
Cage.
movies I don't care about. He does not make a movie for me.
And you just said you don't
You
care
don't
about
care
Reed
about Reed
Richards.
Richards.
Yeah.
So boom.
I
There you
don't
go.
care about Reed Richards. I care about a Fantastic Four movie and its place in the Marvel universe. I am actively looking forward to a Fantastic Four movie.
Interesting.
But whoever plays Reed Richards, unless it's Nick Cage, I'll be like, well, I'll give him a shot. I just don't think I could not watch Nick Cage deliver dialogue or monologues that Reed Richards does and believe that he knows anything he's saying. I don't find him to be I don't, no matter how he acts, he never acts like a smart person. to me.
Interesting.
What?
But he was.
What?
Yeah.
I'm
He's always
maybe
playing
maybe
stuff.
National Treasure or
I feel like
or,
Matchstick Men, he was pretty.
that's your always
clever.
go-to. Let's go for another
Well,
one.
mention it one more time. And he Gone in 60 Seconds. He was like,
Yeah.
you know, he's really
Super
good,
capable.
knowledgeable.
Pretty much
at
any heist
planning
movie,
stuff
he's
out.
all into it.
Right,
I
right.
don't buy him.
I think there was probably another movie. Yeah, and then they went. He said, "Let's go." That was part of the plan. I love that part. I love that part.
And then in this movie, he does in the Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah,
he's such
that's
a
it.
dork.
It worked.
Dane Z in the chat says, if Pedro is Reed, then they need Werner Herzog as Doctor Doom. You know what? I don't
That's
care
pretty
who's Reed. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Get him as Doctor Doom.
Show me the child.
I would like to see the child.
I am
baby.
the smarter of the two of us.
Did everybody go? What do you?
I think it's cool.
That's
I'm
okay.
down. Yeah.
Here's the thing. It is okay, JD. And yet here we are.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Go.
I feel very differently from you about both
Many
of those
things.
things.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Yeah.
But we don't have to go into it.
Yeah.
I am very interested in who is playing
Well,
in
of
Reed
course.
Richards' character. Fantastic
Yeah.
Four is one of my top
Yeah.
Marvel properties,
Yep.
and Reed is probably my top in the Fantastic Four.
I believe
right?
it.
He's super smart.
Yeah.
Does cool things. And so I'm very interested in that. I also really like Pedro Pascal, and I'm
Hmm.
very much
Ah.
like I do go
Ah.
ooh when I see Pedro Pascal.
Did you like him in
something.
Wonder Woman 1984?
Yes.
Still haven't seen it.
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
I actually did. I especially liked him towards the end more when you get to his whole backstory. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Okay.
He was pretty much that movie's only redeeming quality, in so much as he sold that very stupid bit.
I think a younger him would have been a great Booster Gold.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. But when I saw that casting, I was like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm sure if he has the role, he will do a good job.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's just not the picture of Reed Richards that I had.
I mean,
What we shall see.
He could do stoic. He could do
Yeah.
I think it's like Reed with some flavor. I think it's cool. I like it
I mean,
a lot.
he is also an actor, right? So he can
Yeah.
be completely different in this than I
Also,
have ever seen him
That's true.
before.
Yeah.
I
You
think,
know, right?
I think it should be noted too. And I see the collective we as like us in a fandom. We don't make movies. We don't know shit.
Yeah.
So as to why somebody gets hired and the
Uh,
vision that this other filmaker
could
or
be great.
writer or
Yeah.
something has,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
100%.
don't be an asshole about it.
Yeah.
Like you could not like
try.
it,
I'll try. Not
but
to.
like they haven't even like filmed a stitch yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's tone it down.
Last of the Bits and Bobs, Superman Legacy cast Angela Spica,
Spica.
Speaking.
the engineer of the Authority.
Cool.
This is the first time reading it. Go ahead. Tell us more. Who's
Uh,
Angela Spica?
from Authority, the engineer.
Angela Spick is the name of the character.
Oh, that's the name of the character,
Yeah.
not the actress who was cast.
Oh yeah, the actress has like 4 names. I'll look it up. Do you want to talk about the Authority? Do you want to talk about why?
Have
this
you
is
ever read The
weird
Authority?
news?
I've read little bits of it for the bits and bobs section,
I say,
and I think primarily when they've crossed over with something else. The engineer, I
Yeah.
think, is a cool character.
Mhm.
She's one of those machine intelligences,
Mhm.
and she does machine stuff.
yeah,
like
she
Donatello.
does. Yeah.
Yeah,
So are you interested in the James Gunn Superman
Yes.
Legacy?
I have a great deal of interest in it. I am.
I'm
interested in it.
actively excited.
Yeah, and I like what could be happening with the Authority
Mhm.
point of view,
Mhm.
maybe juxtaposed
Yeah,
against
it's
Superman's
Maria
more preferable. point
Maria
of view.
Gabriela de Faria.
Has she been around? What has she done?
Things I've never seen.
Okay,
Animal
I-
Control and the Moodies, some TV shows.
You know what?
Gotcha.
Unknown actors, unknown to me at
Mhm.
any rate, in superhero movies, wonderful.
Yeah. So
Rob Patey says the Authority was brilliant pre-smooshing into the DC continuity.
Yeah.
so
I think I did
yeah,
read some of
I
that
think
too.
I think this is dope. I don't want to see another Doomsday. I don't want to
Oh,
see
God.
Right.
let's do Lex later.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
Yup.
tell me a different story, and if he's setting up something along the lines of what's wrong with truth, justice, in the American
What's
way?
so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way?
If he's setting that up with the Authority
Yes.
in the elite space,
yeah.
Yeah.
fuck yes,
Yeah.
do it
It's awesome.
twice, 3 times. I'm in.
100%. Yeah.
I love this idea
Yeah.
because like we have had so much content about Superman, especially live action content, that arguably doesn't necessarily understand the character and what his strength is. A way to define Superman in contrast to other people of power and how the choices they would make is like the perfect way
Yes,
to
definitely
describe what makes him special.
Yeah.
especially like
I'm
an
so fucking
established
in. Yeah.
Superman who is has been around for a while, is this figure within the community, both superhero and the world, and introduce the contrast that way rather than like new Superman just starting out making these choices or whatever. Yeah.
Let's say he's been on the scene for about 5 years. People think he's seemingly ineffective and or passive. So
Yeah, or they have questions.
Yeah.
Why did this happen when you
Yeah.
put it? Yeah.
And there has been rumors online about like, part of the plot has to do with conflicts in the Middle East, which again, I could totally see. That's literally a plot in Authority. The fact that they just go and fix it.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody like Superman would be
you
like,
can't do that. Doesn't
not
last
a
forever.
dictator. I
Yeah,
shouldn't really
yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
I love this idea.
Sub question.
Sub-question.
If Lex is introduced,
Yeah.
do you want him? Because I feel like I would like him to be introduced in the same way that Smallville did it, which is they were originally friends, and then they become enemies
That's
over
the
time.
pre-crisis stuff. Right?
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, pre-crisis.
I
Although
would-
it was
Well, it's
always
also now post-crisis with Secret Origin.
Yeah,
But,
that's
like,
true.
every
And
time
it was
we
always a retcon too. You know, obviously he was introduced originally as a villain.
And every time we see Lex in the movies, he's always just immediately twirling his mustache.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think if they're going to do something a little bit different, I would like to see maybe have them start off as friends in the first movie and then create some sort of tension. Or do you
He's
just
been
like him being
around-
evil?
I'm all right with. I might be all right with any of it.
Yeah, if it's
But,
good. Yeah, if it's done
right.
well. Yeah, good point.
If they had been friends, like back in Smallville, he traveled there or whatever, and they became friends. And then it's been a while since then. I'd be okay with that, or okay with them just being adversaries, or he's still an adversary that I think I wouldn't like him to be secret. You know what I mean? Superman, having been around a while, probably has run into Lex before.
Yeah.
And it's cool if they just introduce him a little bit too. Like we don't,
Yeah,
not as an antagonist, he's just, but he's there.
I defer to economy of storytelling. Like in a TV show where you have 24 hours a year to fill, sure, start them in a different place and slowly, and the story itself being slowly moving. But we know the whole fucking time that he is a villain.
I mean, I knew the whole time in the Smallville
they
too.
will be at yes, I know, but that's part of the journey. Whereas you have a fraction of the time in
That's
a
a good
movie,
point. Yeah.
and let's actually like
Let's just get there.
let's get there faster so you can tell the story you want to tell as opposed to telling 12 hours of a Superman story before
I guess
you
I
become
just
Superman.
prefer the depth of we're not just at odds, but like I used to care about you in some way.
Oh, yeah.
you
But I
know?
think that you
Well, I
could
do
do
wanna
that
if it's in
use
the
his abilities
past.
for good.
I
I've always
think-
hoped.
I think that you could
Yeah.
I think that you could do that very, very quickly and easily, whether they have very, very quickly, by just establishing Lex's motivation.
Yeah.
That's it. All you need to do is establish Lex's motivation.
Yeah.
Not mustache twirly, not like, is he jealous?
Right.
Is he like
Does he want to buy land?
yeah,
And
does
use
he
it
want
for
to
nefarious reason?
That fucking movie.
establish
damn it.
his
Not that.
I know.
Those.
But no, the worst, I think the worst offender was I'm just going to put condos on this uninhabitable rock that I've had
that
grow
everyone
onto our-
knows that I have created, because
Yeah.
how else would I own it?
Yeah.
And has caused major destruction.
Yeah.
But then I'll get zoning permits
Yeah.
for these things.
Anyway.
fucking dumb movie.
Yeah. I still liked what's his nuts it.
It was great.
All the characters
His
were
nuts was
fun.
great.
His nuts was great.
Yeah.
Rob says just as long as Lex doesn't erotically force feed
Jolly
Reed-
Ranchers.
Oh,
Yeah, the movie
as
was
long
terrible.
as he doesn't erotically force
Force feed.
feed Jolly
Yeah.
Ranchers.
What if it's those cow tails? You know,
Wait, the bite-sized ones? Hang on. The bite-sized ones or
No, the long
the long ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about bullseye? Like
And they
caramel
go in a-
bullseye?
That'd be fine.
Like
Yeah. He's
the
like
Lady in the Tramp.
twisting it open and like popping out the hole. and-
Oh, that would be erotic.
right?
Ah,
Yeah.
it already is.
I'm
to me.
sexy.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our main discourse.
Discourses.
Discorsitudes.
Discourses.
We're going to start with The Marvels, which is a movie that just dropped this past weekend. It's in theaters now. It's PG-13. It's directed by Nia DaCosta, and it's starring Brie Larson, Teyona Paris, Iman Vellani, and Sammy L.J. Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, has reclaimed her identity from the tyrannical Kree and taken revenge on the Supreme Intelligence. However, unintended consequences see her shouldering the burden of a destabilized universe when her duties send her to an anomalous wormhole linked to a Kree revolutionary. Her powers become entangled with two other superheroes to form
The Marvels.
Did it.
I did it. I didn't have anything to do with its creation.
All right, so let's go through real quick. Did you like Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel, the character? Yes.
The first movie.
The movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. It was wonderful.
I fucking love that movie. And the more I watch it, the more I fall in love with that movie. I think it gets a lot of flack for little to no reason. And boy, it's such a fun, I'll just put it on in the background at the shop just to have it on because it feels nice. I just like being in the space.
Nice.
It's a funny movie.
And I was, what did you think of Ms. Marvel, the TV show?
I thought it was good. I liked it.
No.
I loved it.
All right. So we were all same here. I think I liked it a lot.
The show.
You liked it. I liked it a lot.
He loved it.
I loved it.
That's where we're
That's
at.
a good scale.
And I thought it could have been a little bit better. I think Iman Vellani is delightful. I feel like she has a little bit to go before I fully believe her as an actress. But
I'll tell you what, I love her
enthusiasm.
Yes, her whole like perception and fandom.
Oh,
is
so good.
awesome.
So good.
And the fact that she has an opinion that I share about the 616. The MCU shouldn't be 616 because that is the comics universe. This is a different one in the multiverse.
When she takes over
Which is
for
cool. So
Kevin
good.
Feige in 10 years,
That'd
then
be
she
amazing.
can go ahead
Oh
and
my
fix it
God.
herself.
That's
all
wonderful.
right. So I feel like the three of us were primed to enjoy the Marvels.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was actively excited about it, more so than a lot of the other films that have been coming out in the past maybe 2 years. I was actively looking forward to Captain Marvel, more Captain Marveling. Noel, kick it off. What did you think of the Marvels? Oh, we're not going to spoil it until we give you the spoiler warning. So feel free to hang out with us, but then we'll throw up spoilers for you.
I was very excited for the movie. I love Nia DaCosta's work.
Armin.
It feels like it took forever to come out, so I was like anticipating it. And it didn't disappoint. It was just fun as hell. Like I had just so much fun, laughed a lot. There's a tone that this movie kind of strikes, the balance of we have so much information to give you and we're going to do it as playfully as humanly possible. Some of that might piss you off depending on if you like everything self-serious, or you might kind of like giggle at it. Like there's a scene where Captain Marvel is seeing Monica for the first time in decades and finds out, oh, you have powers? How did you get powers? And she explains the entirety of WandaVision in one line. And it is hilarious.
I went through this field.
Yeah, like I went through a witch's
I went through a hex
an
field.
electromagnetic witch's hex. Oh,
Okay.
and then everybody just kind of waves it off.
Yeah.
That's the
Like, these
kind
things
of
happen.
that's the kind of tone and humor that this movie approached. Like I don't think the movie itself takes itself seriously, and that's its biggest strength.
Yeah.
But that doesn't negate actual emotional beats that happen and are effective in the movie.
Yeah.
Like it just does it all really well, and I laughed a lot. I thought
Yeah.
it got weird. The movie was weird as shit.
Yeah.
was great.
I think it didn't get as weird as I wanted it to.
You wanted to get more
I feel
weird.
like scenes in this movie,
Uh-huh.
a certain planet they visit, could have really leaned into it, and they didn't lean into it like
They
enough.
could have.
I was like,
it was awesome though.
Oh, it's over.
But yeah, it was. Yeah.
Take it away.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really good movie. It was. So I've always loved Photon. The Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
I always thought she was really cool. So she's got energy powers, and she is energy.
Yeah.
She's got a cool costume, right? Ever since I was a kid, I was like, check, and check.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm into all that stuff. And so I was really excited to see her in this, and I really liked the portrayal of her. She had a cool costume in this too.
Oh, yeah.
It was really cool. Now, I saw the movie in a theater where there was a alternating crying and screaming young person in a child, baby, in whom I had met before the movie. Actually, I saw him in the theater, and I assume so. It really distracted me. It is a sound that evolution forces us to pay attention to, right? A crying child. And it was so distracting throughout this movie
yeah.
that I really feel I didn't enjoy it as much as I might have, and I regret that having happened.
Aw.
Because and I really want to watch it again, and I don't watch a lot of these movies again, but I want to see it. All that being said, that planet was cool.
Yeah.
I liked all their costumes.
Yeah.
I liked their fun nature. It really was like, so there was some serious shit going on, but it wasn't all that high stakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it was cool. It was fun.
It was high stakes for Hala and the characters.
Right. And
Yeah.
the trillions of people on all those planets. But
yeah.
It's like whatever. We
But,
barely see them.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say the movie is not hella concerned with that.
It's like it'll be fine.
It stays pretty focused,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I kind of appreciate.
Yeah, me too.
I'm really tired of what is it? The blue beam in sky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what?
like
What was
the
this?
blue beam in
sky.
sky. Like for a good like 5 years, every single movie ended with a giant beam into the sky, and they have to fight it
Yeah.
or go to it or stop it. Like it's just a blue
Suicide
beam in the sky.
Squad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All of them are blue beam in the sky. This has like big sky things, but like it's different. It stayed focused. I thought it was really cool.
I agree with both of you guys. I think this movie was a blast from beginning to end. I laughed a lot more than I expected. I found that the relationships between the three actresses, the three characters, were on point and charming as hell. Like I said about Aman Vellani, I think that her enthusiasm
Yes.
is really what's important for that character.
That's
So
just whatever she does. That's what that character does.
Yeah,
Right? She's so
yeah.
enthusiastic.
she just
and-
feels
yeah.
like she's Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of
Yeah.
level of
She is
perfect,
pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
because she just is that character.
Yeah.
And they gave her powers. So I was really happy with more of Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I find her to be very charming, and
Mhm.
even more so in this, now that she's not dealing with a decade of being gaslit into not having emotions or being funny
I was
or
gonna
being
say,
angry.
yeah.
Rewatching Captain Marvel recently, rewatched it for this because I hadn't seen it in a couple of years. The whole plot
Yup.
is about her having to be stoic
Yeah.
and being forced to be less than she is.
Yeah.
That's the entire context of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, she was so
And-
wooden as the character.
And all of
Yeah.
the complaints being like, well, she doesn't smile as much and she's so wooden and she has no sense of humor. I'm like, that's her struggle. Like,
Yeah.
that's
That's the arc
character's
of the character.
entire struggle and arc.
Yeah.
And the moments where she does get to express herself, she lightens up a little bit more and
Yeah,
more and
yeah,
more
yeah.
to the point
I think
where
she's great.
yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah. And then Monica, I liked her a lot. She was
Mhm.
it just
She's
there
awesome.
were some really great segments in this that are just sticking out to me. They're just like neon. I can see them in my head of like, oh, we'll get to spoilers in a second.
Yeah.
We all say go see it in the theater while it's still here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the movie should
Unless you
have
have a
legs.
crying
It's-
baby
It's
with you.
really fun.
Yeah.
Just stay home.
I'm gonna see it again. I'm gonna go see it
I
again in
wanna-
the
let
theater.
me know, 'cause I'll go again, too.
I mean, it
I might be like a
happens.
rando day.
Spoiler alert. We're gonna get into spoilers from The Marvels. So if you haven't seen the movie, come back in
Put it on
10
mute.
minutes.
Put it on mute right in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll shake our
We'll go
hands
blablabla.
and you can come back in.
Yeah.
That's for Loki.
Real
Yeah.
quick, let's see. Armoon says, "What's up, fellas? Hi,
Hey.
Armoon.
Hey.
Welcome back." Sam says, "I love her childlike awe of superheroes. It's so different from all the others."
Yep.
She does remind
Oh,
me a
yeah.
little bit of, and that's the other thing. People give her such a hard time, and I'm like, she's Peter Parker,
Basically.
right? She's the Peter Parker that we got for 3 movies recently. Like,
Basically.
Wait, what?
but it's a
How's that?
problem.
Well, I mean,
She's
female
like
and Muslim.
geeking out.
Oh, Ms. Marvel. I don't know. For some reason, I thought we were talking about
Oh, we
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
No, I'm sorry, Ms. Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Sam says she was forced to be less emotional, told she wasn't good enough, till she ripped that stupid little text sticker off her neck. Robert Monroe Jr. says people need to stop bringing infants to the movies. Once you become a parent, you miss shit. Either get a babysitter or wait for movies to stream.
Well, you know what? I've seen kids in movies before in the movie theater and they're chill the whole time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
when they aren't chill,
They take him out.
the person takes
Yep.
them out and
Yeah. This person did leave. And then when
At
it
the
got really
credits.
bad, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And then came back and was like, okay, everything's cool. It wasn't cool.
It was not
It
cool.
was
No,
not-
yeah. Yeah, you like it's like this is it's I mean it's a decent analogy for social etiquette, but not, I'm not going to compare being a smoker to having children. But it's just
They're
like
basically the same, though.
it's just like being a smoker, former
Yeah.
smokers, right? Like if people in your proximity have an
Mhm.
issue with it,
Mhm.
you go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes
because
sense.
your
Yeah.
freedom is to do this, but your freedom is not also to ruin their experience. So like
Yeah,
you just kind of move off, or
Yeah.
like just go away. It's fine.
makes sense.
It's not your dad. If you can't hold on to it for a minute, just go.
But as for spoilers,
Yeah.
Here we go.
There are some elements of this movie scenes, whole chunks that I just love, like the Flurkins.
Yeah,
When
that was
we
cool.
when we
Yeah.
started seeing those little disgusting things, and they're like,
Mhm.
"What's that?" I was like, "Oh, they must be setting up something in the
thought
future."
it was a
I
big
wonder
problem.
if it's the brood or something.
Yeah, some issue.
And then nope,
Oh.
it's just
Yeah.
it's she had a
Oh.
litter.
I was
She had a litter,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, "Just let them eat you.
They
Yeah, because they
Let
always
the
cough it up.
Flurkins eat you."
they were
Um,
they were setting up her being pregnant like the whole movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Even Miss Marvel's mom is like, "You're feeding her too much. She's getting fat." And I'm like, "What a
Oh.
weird thing to say
But-
about a cat."
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then as soon
Yeah.
as like those things started showing up, I actually looked at my wife. I was like, "Those are eggs.
Yeah.
We're
It
getting
took me a
we're
minute to get
getting
it,
baby kitties."
Yeah.
I thought it went on a little too long.
Hmm.
That
Which-
scene. I was, the Flurkin eating people scene.
Yeah.
I was like, just a little bit.
To
And then
cats,
What's that?
to cats, they were playing memories from cats.
Were
during
they?
that whole scene?
I did
What's
not
that?
get that.
No, I don't think I did either.
That's-
Or I don't
that's
remember
cute.
getting it. Yeah.
Andrew Lloyd Webber cats
yeah.
singing during the whole sequence of them
Yeah.
wrangling cats eating people.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
That
The
is
movie
cool.
is weird and it's great.
And
Yeah.
then it did it. So I was thinking to myself, like, this is going on a little long. And then it did finish in a strong way. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, that part was cool.
Yeah.
But
I even liked
Yeah.
there's that one guy whose name I don't know, but he's got the big cool hair.
300 years old, whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
that guy.
oh yeah, that guy. Oh, he's
and
cool.
he's running around. You see him in the background all the time. And then at one point, you see him finally give up and go, and then lets a Flurkin eat him.
But then
I
like
like that he's like he holds his nose.
also too, so they're
So cute.
they do it to fit everyone in the escape pods they have
And it
left.
was a cool
is a
idea.
It
great
is a
idea.
really cool
But-
idea. And they
but-
seed it earlier in the plot. See, this is
Yeah.
a movie that shows you something earlier
Yeah.
and then does it. Where
It's
they call
Chekhov's
people up.
Flurkin.
Yeah.
Chekhov's Flurkin.
It's classic.
That was
Well,
I saw
it's-
Chekhov's Flurkin
but
once.
you're
It was
right,
gross.
because in the first movie we see the Flurkin do that, but we don't see if she eats them or
Right.
not.
Yeah.
In this one, they actually show regurgitating.
And they pop out. And it's a scene that
As
is
whole.
cool and
Yeah.
because they're the Kree warriors
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the Khan household.
Mhm.
Yeah. And their switching was really cool.
Oh,
I
all of
thought-
that was good. Well,
Oh, that
was-
before,
that's
wait,
a
before,
whole
we-
nother thing.
before we
Yeah.
move on,
Yeah.
One of the things that I love about this movie, and why I think it's actually a lot smarter than people are giving it credit for, the whole Flurkin thing, getting them in the pod, smaller space, but then they also turn that into a bit of thematic tension when they're about to crash land and the cats start puking
Yeah.
up people.
Yeah.
So you've got this like ticking clock inside, a ticking
Mhm.
clock outside. That's just really good
It was
storytelling.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like having all of these things hitting at once
Mhm.
in an organic way was just
Mhm.
Yeah.
is a very
I just saw
impressive
that
movie.
escape pod just filling up with
Yeah.
with people.
It's comical and silly, but it's so well done. And like
Yeah.
we were in it. We're just like,
Mhm.
holy shit, are they gonna puke fast enough for us
Yeah.
to let yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really
That
good.
was cool.
Really good.
But then yeah, when they're doing a montage of them figuring out how they are able to
Yeah, with the jumping
transport each
rope
other,
and
the popcorn up in
Yes,
the air and stuff
yeah.
like that. Just you could tell
They
they're
get
having fun.
better
doing
and better
this.
at it. Yes,
Yeah.
it was,
And
and
the-
it was fun. It was fun
And
to
they
watch.
get better and better at it, and then they still fuck it up.
They
which I
s-
liked.
they set up the rules for it too, though. Like they were very, very clear as to how and why it works. Like
Mhm.
it's not like when it's only when they're using their powers at the same time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you could still use your powers.
Right.
So they would have to like switch off and move
Yeah.
off, not just like rando or like they Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
The whole movie keeps explaining to you
Oh,
what the
yes.
third act is.
Yeah.
And then when you're in the third act, they don't have to explain it anymore because you know and you're just enjoying it. They do a really, really good job telling you how things are functioning
Mhm.
and what success looks like.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and you don't question things. A lot of times these movies get a little bit slapdash or
Mhm.
editing happy, and you're like,
Hmm.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Who
Why did
hit
that?
what?
Why could she do that at this thing?
Yeah.
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 Which I also thought
That's this
was
movie.
a really inventive mechanic that they put in that
Mm.
it's when they use their powers together. Like
Yeah.
you said, it's so they can still use them without it happening.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be like they're either not using them that often
Mhm.
or they're using them and having that complication every time.
Yeah.
And there's times where you can tell one of the characters they all know this, but then still has to pull
Right,
the
something's
trigger on
coming
their
right at you.
power anyway. So
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
there's
Muscle
a
memory
scene
too.
where Miss
Yeah.
Marvel is like trying to save those people on the planet,
Mhm.
and I have to use my
Right.
power.
Yeah, we're not jumping
Hopefully-
rope here.
hopefully
We're
no
not
one's
putting
using
popcorn on
this.
our faces.
There's also one really good like 2-second beat of Denbar.
The Cree woman?
Barden?
Barden.
Darben.
They're not...
When
the antagonists are not really
Darben
focused
is in
on
front
those.
of both Monica and Carol, and both of them instinctively attack,
Mhm.
but then they switch
Yes.
and their beams go
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
other side of her
Yeah.
because they were to the right and the left,
Yeah.
and now they're
Yeah.
left to the right. That is just such a cool, like, quick visual
Yeah.
of, and also somebody was bitching about like,
What?
oh, she's overpowered, and they always come up with ways to make her in a fight. I'm like, yes, because that's fiction. Every time she uses her powers against Darben,
Or it
absorbs
gets
it,
absorbed. Right.
and then she's
Right.
limited by the fact that she can't at the same
Right.
time as the others.
And it's not like
Yeah,
they removed
That's
her
how
powers.
stories work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like they
Being
didn't
able to
remove her.
obstacles
You set up
that you have
obstacles
to
for the
overcome.
hero.
And then
like,
she did overcome them.
Jesus. Yeah.
And
Oh,
she could
next time
still...
they're gonna give Superman what? Kryptonite?
She did still use her powers. I do get annoyed sometimes when they're like, oh, it would be interesting if they had to do what they do without having their abilities. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, but I'm also kind of want to see them with those
Use their
abilities,
abilities,
right? This was
So-
not that at all. She still had her powers. She just had to do different things with them.
Yeah.
You know?
There's the chat's having a fun conversation.
Yeah,
I want to
man.
jump into this. So I
I think
can't see who it is.
Robert says,
He
why
didn't.
do you think the Marvels didn't do better opening weekend?
That wasn't Rob, but either way,
Oh,
why
sorry.
didn't you?
Sorry.
Sam had mentioned Sad Boys of X have dubbed it woke. Agreed. Robert Monroe. Oh yeah, Robert Monroe said, "Are you as tired of the MCU BS as I am?" Yes.
He
Sam-
means the term MCU,
Yeah.
not are you tired of females in movies?
Yeah,
right?
well,
In
the
quotes.
BS
We know.
part.
the BS.
The BS part.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Feminism
Yeah.
threatens
Oh,
them.
yeah, that's a good point.
Sam mentioned feminism threatens them, even though these characters have been around longer than these haters.
Yeah.
Rob mentioned, I also think it's stream waiting is so short,
Yeah,
short
yeah,
now.
yeah.
And the marketing for this film was less intense than others. Basically, streaming is cannibalizing the movies. I actually think all of you are correct.
all of that.
So we have been in the middle of an actor strike and a writer strike. Almost every large tentpole movie
Mhm.
decided to move their date, but Marvel did not.
Mhm.
I think people underestimate how, I'm going to call them normies, absorb their content.
Mhm.
We are very online and we just know things and look into
And
things.
they watch
we
Good Morning
want-
America.
There were,
interviews.
they watch Good Morning America interviews,
Mm.
late night talk shows,
Yep.
press junket clips,
Yep.
interviews in the newspaper and magazines. Like these are all things that actors do
Mm.
3 to 6 months leading up to a movie
Yep.
to where it permeates the popular nomenclature and it becomes an event.
Yeah.
That did not happen for this movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also,
The strike ended 2 days before
2 days
the movie?
beforehand, and then like immediately there, not even 2 days, like the day before,
Yeah.
and then immediately we saw internet clips of Aman Vellani showing up at a movie theater and
Yeah.
Brie Larson
Mhm.
showing up at a movie theater, and that night they were
Yeah.
booked on Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
Like
Right.
they
They were basically at a starting line, and as soon as the gun went off, they're like,
Right.
okay, go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also it hurts them, not just people not seeing those interviews and whatever, but also not hearing anyone else talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The people, and it's like, well, if nobody's
this
talking
is-
about it,
This was a perfect
Yeah.
storm. Like you have that, and then you also have, to Rob's point, the streaming model
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
cannibalizing the legs of a movie in the theaters.
I've seen
Mhm.
so
Like,
many people go,
oh,
I'll just wait for streaming.
it's
in like a month
why
or
not?
two.
a month, 2 months, it's going to be fine.
you
Everything's
know,
going to be fine.
movie attendance has been going down since the invention of television.
Yeah.
Right. Like steadily.
Not
And
to mention also the pandemic.
And I think that really solidified a lot of changes. And who knows what will happen in the future. but-
On top of all those things, the only people talking about this, filling that void, have been incredibly negative.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
like
Who
even
haven't
those
seen the movie.
even those that are in the know has been negative. So like it was just the perfect storm for all of that vitriolic bullshit to kind of bubble a little closer to the surface than it ever does.
Hmm.
And then they all get to say, see, I told you so,
Mhm.
without applying any of the other mitigating factors as to why this movie did or didn't make as much money as it
Right,
should have.
right.
Yep.
It's just, it's cyclical bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. It got enough, it got as good a reviews as superhero movies usually get.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
You got a B on Cinema Score? Is that what
And it
I-
still, I think, did well. It just didn't do as well as
didn't do
other Marvel
Marvel well.
movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm personally hoping that because literally everyone who has seen it that I've talked to or seen has been like, that was great. I wasn't even sure if I was going to see it, but I'm so glad I did because it's so much fun. I'm hoping that all of the good word of mouth will actually keep it kind of like going a little bit.
I don't know.
So if you haven't seen it, go see it at the theaters. It's a wonderful time.
It's a really fun movie.
Yeah.
I don't think like, I think the negative discourse, the MCU bullshit, all of that's incredibly unfair. But I don't think the streaming cannibalism is an unfair argument.
Yeah.
I actually think that's very true.
Yeah.
No, I think it's absolutely.
Yeah, they are eating themselves, like they are eating their own content and pitting their own content against each other.
And it may turn out that movies are just a thing that dwindles.
I think next year's going to be great because they moved all of their movies away to 2025.
Oh, right.
Literally only one movie is coming out next year and maybe 2 TV shows. Whereas 2 years ago, like it's just going to be Deadpool and Echo, and maybe at the end of the year will be Daredevil.
No, I doubt it.
Maybe at the end of the year.
They're starting from scratch on that one.
But,
I'll be surprised.
But still, like it's going to be a nice gap year of less content.
So there's
and
no like MCU.
Right.
movie.
So
Yeah.
Robert Monroe Jr. is saying similar. Fanboys are spoiled. I'd like to take them back to pre-Star Wars when we had hardly anything. When we got something, we were happy. So with less of it, hopefully people will appreciate the things we have.
We'll see. I do think the biggest mistake that Disney made was greenlighting 6 shows in 1 year.
Yeah.
Because the shows take the shine off the movies.
Yep.
And this concept that they all have to connect to each other. They shot themselves in the foot when one little delay happens. Their entire slate had to get reshuffled.
Right.
And Marvel has not recovered since the pandemic, and it's not because some things haven't gone back to normal. It's because all of their plans have been shifted in 5 or 6 different ways over and over again.
True.
Because of all the interconnectedness. So they need to like breathe and pull back.
And
I agree.
the TV shows were not as uniformly liked or as good as the movies, you know? Not that every movie that came out before Endgame, including Endgame, was good, but a lot of them were really good and really well liked. And the shows, I think I enjoyed all of them. Yeah. But few of them reached that like, oh, that was awesome. You know, like that was really good. Loki, which we'll discuss later, is one of them.
Yeah.
Now Sam makes an interesting point, or a really good point. 3 different personalities come together, joining forces, battling despite all odds, and figuring it all out in less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
When I saw that runtime before seeing the movie, I was like, fantastic. You know, I don't need every time it's a 2.5 hour movie, even if it's one of my favorite things, I'm like, oh, how's this gonna be?
Lean and mean. And that's actually what I was gonna say about the TV shows. I believe in whatever works for the story. So it does not have to uniformly be 6 hours.
Right.
It does not uniformly have to be 2.5 hours to be important or good.
Right.
No, whatever the story dictates. An hour and a half movie, great. Make it lean, mean, great.
Oh,
Werewolf by Night, 45 minutes, and it was solid as shit.
Yeah.
Like I think that a lot of the early TV shows, the Marvel TV shows,
wanted to bring up was just people were complaining about the villain, and I think the villain lacked charm, but I do think that the villain's motivations were awesome.
Oh yeah.
The fact that Captain Marvel, in between movies, went back and was like, I'm going to unseat the power
like
of
enough
this
of the
world.
Supremore business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get this.
Supreme intelligence.
Yeah.
My hats.
And then
comic
just-
book accurate Supreme
That
Intelligence.
was awesome.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
like, oh, the
cool.
Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah.
And did we see the Supreme Intelligence in the first movie?
Yes.
Only
She
if,
was-
Okay.
manifestation.
It was Annette
As
Bening.
that. But did we see the head in the jar with the tube?
Nope.
No, we never
Wire?
saw
Oh, I
That's why,
loved it.
that's why Nia DaCosta is fucking awesome.
I
that.
loved it.
So
Weird. Movie
the
was
fact
weird.
that she unseated this power and then left a vacuum, and then the planet started to crumble.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
the
see why did that happen?
Why
Was he
did that
controlling
happen?
that
Civil
part
War.
too? Or
Civil War.
They
They
had
just
a-
used up all
like,
their resources.
it was-
I guess.
Well, I mean, that was
Like-
really kind of their fault then. Yeah.
She tipped over the first domino.
I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
has
really,
been- and
he
has been
tipped
dubbed
over the first domino by
Annihilator,
oppressing
yeah.
them for generations.
And
Yeah,
the fact
whatever.
that they then took the pre-existing form of transportation from Guardians of the Galaxy, which is that
Yes.
hive transportation thing.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called.
Jumping.
Hive
The
transportation thing.
sci-fi wall. And then reuse that
Yeah.
to steal resources from other people, like Spaceballs.
Mhm. They
I thought
strike-
that was really fun.
Oh, right.
Remember?
It was a good
Suck,
concept.
Suck. You remember
I
with the
haven't
giant
seen-
vacuum?
So long since I've
Anyway.
seen that movie. So I have 2 to 3 things that I wanted to bring up about that movie. One was the thing that you said you really liked, but now we can talk about what it was.
Yes.
That Singing and Dancing Planet.
Yeah,
That
I
was
think they could
awesome.
have gone
I
a
want it-
little
I want
bit
it harder.
further.
My favorite part of that entire sequence was
yeah.
all of the business that Teyana Paris was doing in the background.
Yes.
She when they first get there, she's double fisting drinks, and she's like shaking, dancing. And then when Captain Marvel's doing her whole dance number and sing song, every time they shoot back to Photon and Miss Marvel, they're like laughing and giddying and like dancing in the background. I was like, that's the better story right there.
Yeah, that's cute.
The fact
Also,
that
they
she's
never call her Photon.
double fisting
No,
drinks.
they never did it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, it was awesome. I loved the singing and dancing itself was cool. I also really liked the look of that place.
Yeah.
You know, it was a very well designed alien
Mhm.
world with a different thing that they do, which singing is not
Sing song,
unknown
baby.
to sci-fi
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
and
yeah.
has been done very well. And I thought this was a good and different sort of addition to that.
Yeah.
That this is just what they're like.
Yeah.
Some people think that our earliest languages were songs.
I
I
wish it-
Oh,
I
he's
wish it went-
talking. Oh, he's bilingual.
Yes,
I
that was fun.
I wish it would have gone
a
full
little
musical.
longer.
Right?
I could have
Full
done that.
musical.
Full musical. I want
Yeah.
like full orchestra breaking a song, not just talky sing.
Yeah.
Because it was really just more like talk sing.
Yeah.
I wanted like a
Well,
musical.
but would they
number.
have that
Yeah.
all the time? I guess at the party, maybe.
Yeah,
they would have
yeah,
music
just
going
like-
on. Yeah,
We get introduced to it with them walking through and like, okay, but then that party was a perfect avenue to just go
Yeah.
full musical and
Mm.
have the other characters kind of bring into it. I would have thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
yeah.
Uh,
And Ms. Marvel would definitely try her hand at singing with them.
I was, yeah,
Oh, for
she's
sure.
yeah, she watched Bollywood movies
I was
with
gonna
her.
say she's
Oh, yeah.
Indian, right? That's part
Yeah.
of it.
Oh, every Indian person watches Bollywood movies.
I
I just mean I felt like
Oh,
that.
right.
I felt like
We've-
that world
we've met
was
her-
sort of a.
we've met her parents. They absolutely watch Bollywood
Yeah, that's
movies.
a
Yeah,
good point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, they have an entire in the show. They have an entire conversation about Bollywood,
Yeah, and they
about
do
a
dance.
Bollywood actor.
There's a whole dance
there you
number.
go.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they do a
There
whole
you go.
dance number
Yeah,
at
yeah.
her brother's wedding.
Yeah.
And maybe it is the kind of thing where even if you're not into it, you kind of know about it if you're in the Indian culture. I don't know.
A lean runtime is why I'll see the Marvels before I see Scorsese's movie. 4 hours is a long time to commit to a movie.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
Says
see
Robert Monroe. Sam says Miss Marvel adores Captain Marvel the way Monica did when she was young.
it.
And you can tell it bothers Monica because she was hurt, but they resolved the conflict by the end. I didn't even notice that,
Yeah.
Sam.
Goddamn good movie. I want,
Ugh.
hey, let's go again.
Yeah, let's
babe.
go again. Let's just stop the show and go.
Well, I have a question about the movie. So, also the quantum bands are in it, which I also love.
Yeah.
Because they're quantum bands.
Yeah.
And
Quasar.
No notes.
Yes, Quasar is
No
awesome.
notes.
Yeah, exactly. Perfection. And in Ms. Marvel, I was like, she's got one of the quantum bands.
Yeah,
But,
same.
but only one.
Same.
What's gonna happen? There's
Yeah.
two of those,
Well,
and it was a big part of this movie, obviously.
so she doesn't need the band
It's
for her
like
powers.
the band lets
I've never been
Her Miss
100%
Marvel
sure.
powers let her use the bands.
So
Is what?
I
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, the end of Miss Marvel, Bruno tells her it's not the band that has the power. The band kind of jump started something in her,
Yeah.
innate
Yeah.
abilities in her, a
Okay.
mutation in her, because
Yes.
anyone else with the band. It wouldn't have the same
Explode.
abilities.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. They can't.
So
use
she can use, but it was never truly clear because
Yeah.
at the end she does take the band off, but she's able to still use her powers. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, I forgot about.
I
that
forgot.
part.
I just
Yeah.
forgot about the rules of that
Me
specific
too.
Okay.
thing.
I'm not 100% sure.
But
on
when
that.
I
Yeah.
know that the movie wouldn't make that mistake, so I was like, I must have missed something.
Yeah.
Because what I was wondering is why doesn't she have the second band at the end?
Mhm.
Because those are, they come in sets. I was expecting her to get like even more powerful when she got the second band.
Yeah.
And
Who's got it at the end? Does Carol have the other one?
Carol.
Carol's got the other
Carol
does
goes
she
off with
keep
it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't. I just thought it was
So
unaccounted for.
I want to go back to the end scene of Miss
Nah,
Marvel.
that was
and-
Shang-Chi.
yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi does the
No,
bands.
Yes, that is
Does
true.
the 10 rings.
Best
movie in Phase 4, by
I
the
do
way.
want to
Yeah,
hear.
Shang-Chi
Yes,
was awesome.
Absolutely.
I love that movie so much.
Yeah.
And I really want to see what happens at from that post-credit scene in
Yeah.
Shang-Chi. That's another thing though we didn't talk about, the end
End
scene
credit
of this
scene.
movie. Well, the end. The
Are we even
credit
going to talk
scene-
about Loki tonight? Probably not.
We're not.
No,
It's
we're
good
not.
though. It was really good. I liked it a lot.
Can we do 5 minutes right now?
End credits is rad.
Yeah.
Oh, that
and
guy's
the
right.
part where she does the Nick Fury bit was
That
cool,
was
too.
cute.
That was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
there's- Yeah.
Loki season 2, Disney Plus, starring Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, Kehu Kwan, and Sophia DiMartino. Loki learns the true nature of his glorious purpose as he rectifies the past to save the future. I just watched the last 3 episodes of the show today. The first 3 episodes, I was like, okay, this is pretty. That's fun. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Starts to spin its wheels a little bit. I hope that this goes somewhere. There's a lot of techno babble. But the last 2 episodes of this show
Yeah.
were
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
I love the way that this show wrapped up. I don't want to. We're not gonna. I don't think. Are we gonna spoil that?
No, let's not spoil
No.
it.
It
Let's
just
not spoil
dropped.
it. It's
Yeah.
it last week, but we don't have to spoil it to talk about it. Like there's this season was weird in so much as 95% of it is in like 2 rooms.
Yeah.
This is it's a smaller season,
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
but also 10 times bigger.
Also the case.
The
Which-
stakes.
Yeah.
Like it's a claustrophobic show. It's
Mhm.
it's almost a samey kind of show, but they twist it just enough to where it's like, oh no, this is actually bigger than
Hmm.
anything since.
Whereas in season
Endgame.
1 we
Endgame,
saw
yeah.
the multiverse. This is like different points in time in the same.
Yeah, and they
couple
and they
places.
do
Yeah.
like there was an interview again. They rushed out 1,000 interviews with a bunch of people on television as soon as the strike was over. But like Hiddleston pretty much said, there's dialogue bits and some scene blocking and repetition of literally the first Thor movie
Hmm.
in this finale.
Hmm.
They repeat dialogue in different contexts. They repeat.
Interesting.
Oh.
I only caught like.
Is there a
one
video
of
for
those
that I
things.
can watch?
I don't
Because I
know.
didn't catch it.
I-
Besides the
but I-
glorious purpose.
But I did
Yeah,
catch
well,
a couple like there's a couple like he smiles at them and says like for you, for all of us.
Yes, I saw that was a
That's
reference to it.
direct
I
reference
didn't-
from
yeah.
Thor 1
oh.
when he's about to get like launched off into space. He says something, he says it again in different contexts. The tree
I love
visage,
stuff like that. I would like to-
Isidril,
Dude, I
Yggdrasil.
gasped. I gasped when we saw Isidril. I
There
thought that was
was-
so cool.
there was so much. It was just
I
so
asked. Yeah, it was amazing.
beautifully done.
that thing.
And they don't say it,
Hmm.
but in the comics he has a different title.
Hmm.
He's the god of something else, not the god of mischief.
Yeah, kind of.
And they don't say it in the show, but that's my headcanon. He is now
Well,
that
people
he's
keep,
now that
including
god.
the creators of the show. At least one of them used that term,
Did
and I
they?
was like, "Oh, I guess that is what." Because I kept seeing people just matter of factly referring to him as this, and I'm like,
Oh,
"Where was
okay,
that
okay.
said?"
Yeah.
Because like
Um,
to me that was like and I wish I'm so glad that maybe in the show they didn't do it because they would have done something really stupid like is the god of timelines or something bullshit like
Hmm.
that. But no, he's
Just like a guy would come on and say
Yeah.
it like that. Like he would just pop up at the end.
I mean there's
would
some,
like that.
there's some decent examples of like
Yeah.
things that are so obvious but people screw them up. We were watching this is completely off topic. Sam wanted to watch Never Ending Story.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really want to watch it.
Yeah.
But she had it on when I was going home. And The Nothing. The Nothing is
I
this.
barely remember that movie.
It's essentially it's nothingness that like spreads and
makes
eats
sense.
everything. It's
Oh,
just
Oh,
a
I
void.
remember that.
Is that
part.
The Nothing.
Yeah.
That's like the whole problem that's
Yeah, yeah.
going on.
In the second movie, and I remember in the second movie, the nothing returns. It's this emptiness that's taking over the land and stuff.
There was a second never-ending
Yes,
story.
with Jonathan Brandis.
Yeah, that
But-
was good.
But in the movie, we've seen the first one and we all know it's the nothing.
Mhm.
In the movie, somebody's just like, it's the emptiness, and the emptiness is taking us all. I'm like,
Oh, is that we don't remember it
why
correctly?
the fuck would we call it the emptiness?
Huh.
But it's just something like that where I'd be
Yeah.
like, I'm glad they didn't say it in the show
Right.
because they would have like somebody might have named it wrong.
Yeah.
When Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness came out, I was already fatigued from multiverse timey-wimey stuff, but I forgot all of that negativity by the time Loki wrapped up. It was that solid. The nothing is a metaphor for losing your imagination and hopes and dreams.
But
sounds good.
yeah, it's a nothing. Don't call it the emptiness.
I was, in the middle of Loki, while it is one of my favorite of the MCU Disney Plus shows, I was still being like, okay, all right. But then, boy, it just, as soon as I was feeling that way, it did a whole different thing.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And just the way it wrapped up, I will remember it forever. It was really cool.
Yeah. I was into it from start to finish.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I love it, all of the different story elements and also the performances. Like, Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson are great.
Oh, they're so good.
The Ke Huy Quan.
Ke Huy Quan, who's
great
awesome.
in this one. In this
When he
season.
showed up, I was like, perfect.
Yes, that was
Wonderful.
cool. And I like the style of the show as well. And I thought the progression of him learning his abilities
Mhm.
or what his deal is, and emotional progression was very cool. And the final expression in the show was extremely well delivered.
Yeah.
I also did not see it ending up that way at all.
No.
And I had
a whole different idea.
a whole different idea. And I was very, very happy that it did.
I guess,
like, oh,
I
what
guess
a
the
way.
piece of it, but not
Yeah.
the extent of it. We'll do it offline.
Yeah.
But do you want to see them continue this?
No,
I don't either.
no, it's done.
I'd like to see more. I don't know.
I would like to see more from those characters and other things.
I'd
I
be
think-
okay if Hiddleston shows up somewhere here
Sure,
and there,
yeah.
but I think
it could be.
this
good.
this is such a good end of that story.
Yeah, I'm
I
fine
love
with
it.
that too.
Yeah.
But I would also be fine with like,
I think
I guess whatever can still happen, and
The-
we see him.
the producer said something to the effect of this is like the end of Loki, but not the end of Loki. Like
Oh yeah.
the show.
he's
as
like,
it
I'm
is.
already pitching, or I'm already thinking of different ideas to pitch. Maybe they will involve Mobius. Maybe they
Yeah.
will involve
Yeah, like
this
it-
I
character. or
like,
that
it
character.
It would not be. It would like this story arc.
No.
This whole thing is a button.
I want more
but
Sylvie.
Yeah, see more of that.
Sylvie's cool.
Yeah.
Loki variant. Why not? Give her a show. I never liked Owen Wilson so much. Mobius should return.
Yes.
Also, Morbius should return.
Yeah. Visually, the last couple episodes are great,
Yes.
but the very, very end, very visually cool.
Mhm.
But my favorite scene in the movie is the record shop scene.
Oh, the show.
Sylvie
Oh, it was
goes
cool.
to a record shop,
Very
and then
cool.
what happens in there was
Yeah.
disgusting and awesome and shot so well.
It was cool.
So second to last.
Really cool.
Benson and Moorhead.
All right,
Justin Benson and Aaron
we
Moorhead.
did it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and talking about all these things. Man, there's a lot of stuff that we discussed today.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff.
I'm really glad we did it. It was great.
Yeah.
Join us next week when we will talk about something else.
Well,
Could be anything.
I have a suggestion,
be.
but I also don't know if I'll be here. It's the day before Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Going out of town, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But this Friday, premiering on Apple TV Plus is Monarch,
the Kong,
Godzilla movie. Yeah.
Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah.
show.
Godzilla
watch
show
Yeah.
with the Russells.
I'm excited for that.
Hmm.
Did you see the preview for it?
Also, Thanksgiving.
I don't think I did.
Also Thanksgiving.
I wanna
I'm
see
very
Thanksgiving in the
interested
movie.
Oh,
Russell
Thanksgiving in the movie.
aspect.
Yeah, Kurt Russell
Yeah.
and Wyatt Russell. They play the
Nice.
same father son
Yeah.
play the same character 50 years apart.
That's
That's
awesome.
cool.
I think that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And Matt Fraction is the showrunner.
That's cool too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We talked
That's
about
cool.
You did know that.
I didn't know that just now. I knew it previously,
it. You had forgotten it.
and I
Just- yeah.
forgot about it.
Yeah.
I didn't know it until just now.
There you go.
Previously.
You're welcome.
Hey, we love you. Thanks so much. Goodbye.
Da-da-da.
I'm in so